Hey everyone, David Rishpan here again on YouTube with a bit of a different video. I know in the past some of my gear-centric videos have gotten quite a bit of attention, so thought I would revisit doing some of that. And I wanted to talk about a series of piano plugins that came out at the end of 2023 that are incredibly inexpensive and are really, really good. I'm not sponsored. I'm not sponsored by this company. I have no professional affiliation with them. I paid full price for all of these. Um, so no, there's no bias there and no connection to them either. This is from a company called Boz Digital Labs, and this is the New York bundle, the New York L bundle, I believe. And there's two New York pianos, one from 1926 and one from 1991. And they've also released a Lite version of both of those pianos. So I don't have the 1991 Lite, I only have the 1926 Lite, but we'll look at the 1926 and 1991. We'll look at the difference between the Lite and the full version. And I just want to talk about my experiences and play a few examples. Let's get into it. So this is the first instrument plugin from Boz Digital Labs. I got to know their company from their David Bendeth signature plugins, EQ, compressor, channel strips, that kind of thing. Um, and so this is their first instrument, their first piano or sampled plugin. It is sampled, it's not modeled. So that takes a bit of a toll on your hard drive. And if you have, I'm running everything in the low RAM mode. I'm trying to keep the full versions as close to the light versions as possible. When I bought it, when it was first released, I think it was $29 each for the full pianos, and then they came out with the light versions later, and the light versions are $19 US. So for that price, I don't think you can go wrong. And I will mention I'm playing all these examples from an unweighted synth controller. This is the Novation Launchkey 61. Again, not sponsored by Novation. I have no connection to Novation professionally other than the fact that I use their equipment, and I paid full price for this. And I'm playing all these examples from an unweighted controller. So you can only imagine the level of dynamic control and dynamic response that you would get from an 88 key weighted controller. Boz has come out, like I said, with light versions of both pianos. Those I would feel more comfortable using live in my main stage session. I do find that the full versions are very CPU intensive, even on the lowest RAM setting. That being said, I love how they sound. I love how they feel. The 1926 plugin, uh, the thing I could compare it to the most that I have previous experience with is the Native Instruments Maverick. And I feel like this is a little more all round. The Maverick is a very, very particular sound, and it doesn't fit in every track or in every use case. The Boz 1926, I think, fits in more tracks, fits in more types of mixes, but also has an amazing response just to play solo piano. Whatever reverb they have sounds really great. I don't know what's working under the hood of this plugin. You'll see that on the full versions, there's a mix knob and a tone knob. For now, I have disabled those to keep it as similar to the light version as possible. So now I'm going to play a similar thing kind of on the light version. This is 1926 Lite. They both sound fantastic. And the 91 it's a more modern piano, so it's a more modern sound. I would compare that maybe to the Native Instruments Grander. Like I said, I have the pianos that I use currently are the Native Instruments pianos. I don't have Keyscape, I don't have Piano Tech, so I can't really comment how it compares to those. For me, the Boz has a different character, kind of a fuller character than some of the native pianos. And the way that I play and the way that I play off of this unweighted controller, I feel like the response is fantastic. Um, each of the pianos respond the way I would hope and expect a great acoustic piano to respond. I should mention that all the effects are internal to the Boz Digital Labs plugin. The reverb that you're hearing is the Boz reverb that's built into the plugin. There's no EQ, there's no compression, there's nothing after the Boz plugin, just the Boz, just the New York pianos. We will look at the mix knobs and what that does a little bit later. So this is the 1991 piano. You already hear it's a little bit brighter, a little less, there's a different low mid characteristic than the 1926. I definitely think going forward, the 1991 is going to be my go-to plugin for all-around piano tracking, in the box piano tracking. I think it's going to kick my previous choices out of their place in my template. I just really love how these things sound. Let's experiment now with some of the features that are in the full version. So I'm going to turn on the mix and tone knobs. I'm just going to mess with those as I play. So this is with mix at 0%, tone at 0, so at noon. Now I'm going to put the mix up to 50%. This is where the CPU starts to take its toll. I'm going to leave tone at 0. And now I'm going to put the mix up to 100 and see what that does. So with the mix cranked, it definitely feels more aggressive to me. Definitely, I wouldn't put it much above 50 or 60% for my taste. I'm going to bring the mix back to 0. Excuse me. I'm going to bring the mix back to 0, and I'm going to see what the tone does. So that was at noon. That was all those examples were the tone at noon. Now I'm going to bring it back to about -10, -6. It immediately sounds like I closed the lid. So that tone knob is very, very drastic. Let's go to +6 now. Wow. Okay. So for my taste, I would just leave the tone knob at 0. It's a little too intense, and the sweep is too wide for it to be of much use to me. But you could get some really interesting sound designy stuff with that. I'm gonna play a little more, play out. So check out Boz Digital Labs New York pianos, the New York L pianos. Uh, I think they're fantastic. They're gonna take up. They're gonna be the primary pianos in my template going forward. For recording, for live, I would still feel more at ease using the native pianos because the CPU load is a little bit rough, even on the lowest RAM setting. If you're in the market for an upgrade to your piano sound, I highly recommend them. I'm David Rishpan. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.